And we are live. Good morning, good people of YouTube.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be with you guys again.
I think I did something to you, Rotus. All right, Rotus, let's hear from you again.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's great. All right.
All right.
Good life together. So go ahead, choose Verve for the good life. Ask your bank for a Verve card.
So we will be going on air in 12 seconds. Let's get it.
All right.
Grab a cup of coffee and chill. This is the smooth breakfast. Business Express. Brought to you by EnterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
Good morning, people of the world, and welcome to a Valentine's Day episode of Business Express. And I've got a Rotus on the show with me. Good morning, Rotus.
Happy Good morning, Shock. Good morning, Shock. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
How do you feel when you hear those words?
I know. I think about money. I think about that's really what you're looking at. It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Because I have to say, Valentine's Day is pretty good. It's the commercialization of love. Some people.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Well, others would say it's really just a day in order for you to be able to express yourself and tell the person that you love, I love you. Some people got married on Valentine's Day. Shout out to you, Indeed. Valentine. Happy anniversary. All right,
Indeed.
So Rotus, now so today's show, like you said, is about the cost of Valentine's Day and what goes on. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like,
yeah, it's
we're
facing an inflationary Valentine's Day. Basically, the costs of the year-on-year cost of chocolates, of cakes, and roses have all seen large increases compared to inflation. So inflation is 15.6% year on year as at December. It had been decelerating, but then ticked upwards, right? Food inflation, where chocolates and cakes fall under, that's at 17.37%. So I went around to a number of retailers in each segment just to talk to them, about the price increases. So if we take chocolates, for instance, one particular brand, a set of they call Praline chocolates. They used to sell retail for 8,500 and now 13,500. That's about a 53% increase. Roses, I think about the set of 20 was going for about 70,000 naira last year. They're going for 80,000 this year, 25 or so percent increase. Cakes, a 12-inch red velvet cake going for 25,000 last year, 42,000 this year, 68. Whoa! But it's crazy, Shopper, insane. And this is the thing, particularly for the cake, how much, what's the reason? They were like, the cost of sugar has greatly increased. One particular indigenous brand that they were getting their butter from, they had to close shop and move to Ghana. There's the issues with the ports when importing some of these raw materials. FX rates has also impacted them as well, the movement in the dollar. So that was for the cake folks. For the roses, I was like, look, I looked at the top exporters of flowers because this is a big time for them. Kenya, for example, Kenya's flower industry, I think about 70% of their exports go to Europe. They made about $968 million in exports of flowers, and Valentine's Day accounts for about 50% of their cut flower exports. So they're looking to make a lot of money. Ethiopia, the top 5 exporters of flowers, the Netherlands, Colombia, Ecuador, Kenya, and Ethiopia. These 5 countries dominate flower exports. So Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, all these other special occasions, it's a time for them to make a lot of money. And I asked the flower folks, okay, can we grow these roses?
Thank you, Rotus, because that was the question I was asking when you started talking about the money. Yeah. I was just like, can we start growing flowers? What does it take?
Exactly. They said at this time, the best climate is possibly Jos, but there are a lot of issues. So Jos is not your market to sell these flowers. These are for, I guess, people who talk about Valentine's, they are more middle class, upper middle class folks. Although it's catching on in other segments of the income stream. But Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, that's where your market is. So to grow them in Jos and then ship them down here, there's a transportation cost, right? If you look at the Bureau of Statistics, transportation costs year on year are up 70-something%. So transportation costs have been going up. There's also the security issue. Jos has had the security problems. There's a security problems with traveling by road. So by the time, and then even the climate, even though Jos is probably the best location to grow them, at scale, because of the difference in climate compared to the Netherlands, Ecuador, Kenya, Ethiopia, it's different. So you can't even grow that much, right? And even when you do, the cost of transporting them to where your market is, the security cost, by the time you add everything, it will just be too expensive. So
now, Rotus, I want to just butt in here and tell everyone very quickly where you can send your messages into, because I know people have had personal experience of the growing costs and the inflationary costs of Valentine's Day. So let us know, the presents that you bought for your loved ones, what it has cost you this year versus, let's say, last year. So send your WhatsApp messages into 0809 440 981. And of course, you can go up on Twitter, use the hashtag Business Express 981. Never forget that 981. All right, Rotus, sorry, back to you.
Yeah, no problem. So that's for the flowers. As far as us not being able to take advantage of what other countries like Netherlands and Ecuador, Kenya, Ethiopia, that we have to, a serious amount of effort has to be made to be able to grow those particular flowers. And you probably need a lot of greenhouses. Greenhouses require power. The flower people, they kept emphasizing power more than anything else. Oh, if you go to if I ran into Charlie Boyles, fortunately there was one event going on Akea Adishola, this flower company that's been around for a while. They were hosting a party. If you walk through the location they have, the place where their roses are kept is freezing cold. They have to be kept at delicate they're delicate, so they have to be kept at cold temperatures in order for them to be preserved. And that costs money. They told me that they had to buy a second generator just to be able to, maintain an even temperature to keep the flowers there. So by the time, these are all the infrastructure problems we talk about when we talk about, being able to, improve cost of doing business, reduce cost of doing business, increase ease of doing business, reduce cost of doing business for companies here. The power issue keeps coming up. So the delicate nature of trying to sell flowers in this country, the addressable market, plus the fact that costs have gone up means that the market is going to shrink a little bit and people will be buying a bit less, And then for, so that was cakes, that was flowers. The chocolates, of course, there are players in this space who are making chocolates in Nigeria, but when you look at the price of what cocoa costs on the international market in dollars, when you think about the other logistics matters, these are all the factors that fed into these big year-on-year increases in price.
Well, you know what I'm hearing though, Rotus? Importation. I'm sorry, I have a novel idea. Hear me out now. Hear me out.
Okay.
PR, okay? How has the rose become the symbol of love? Let's make something else the symbol of love.
That we grow here.
That we grow here. They just grow everywhere. How about that becomes the Nigerians something,
The egusi leaf. We can use the egusi leaf. That's a good idea, right? But the thing is, it would have to go across the world. Everybody would have to see that same item, and then so you can export it everywhere else. So that is that's the challenge. Restaurants also facing the same increases as far as the cost of the items that they sell. There's one particular restaurant offering couples, I think last year was about 80,000 for a 5-course meal. This year it's 100,000 and it's reduced to a 4-course meal, right? So there are issues as well. We're trying to bring in raw materials with the cost of food. Food inflation at 17.3%, double digits. It's really, really high. So you can imagine, not only for households, you and I that are going to buy food, you can imagine what the impact is on a restaurant that's trying to stay afloat. So so looking at all this, it's a very inflationary Valentine's Day that's going to impact exactly what people purchase. And, being viewed as a optional luxury celebration. You can imagine that in the first place, not that many people will be participating. And then even those that are probably have to check their pockets and say, well, this is something I might have to skip out on, or I'll just reduce what it is that I spend. So it's
Rotus, I would love to know what the cost of singlets is, because apparently that's just a gift that men keep on receiving, despite many, many requests not to get them. But yes, I'd like to know the price of singlets. We do have messages coming in up on WhatsApp. Remember, you can also use the hashtag Business Express 981 on Twitter and tag Rotus at Rotanquote. Okay, so on WhatsApp 0809 440 981, FS McCanny says Nigeria exported 750,000 tons of cocoa in 1974, but today we export 250,000. Isn't that sad for the chocolate industry? Whilst Gwenga Akomu says, what impresses me about the US economy is the diversity of it, and we don't have such vastness and richness here. So this flour matter, even when there is potential, the obstacles make it a trouble-filled venture. More messages coming in. Gilbert says, on the growing cost of food items, first things first, we need to tackle insecurity. And a big thank you to Tony Illuminu for leading corporate organizations to donate 100 billion naira for security challenges in Nigeria. Gilbert's also saying we need to also reawaken and improve our cocoa yield in Nigeria. And there's no name to this one. I love this person. This person just says, me, I still don't believe that food inflation number. Like, you think it's too low? You think it's too high? Which one is it?
I think he thinks it's too low because, again, if you look at the food inflation is 17.3%, but yet you've seen chocolates go up 25%, cake go up 60-something%, flowers go up 14 or so percent. So those are all, you've seen those metrics, the increase, year-on-year increases are higher than inflation. But again, it's a basket, it's looking at the number of items. So I think it's saying it's too low is what most.
I hope so. I hope so, because I still remember somebody saying, no, this kind of food, it's still the same price. You can still buy it for that. Yinka says, roses, 80,000 naira. I hope we will be making vegetable soup out of it by the 15th of February. The good thing is that old schoolers like us don't celebrate Valentine's Day, a day that's not federal government recognized. So, Rotus, midterm is next week. School fees is halfway due, says Yinka. And we have more messages. We've only got a couple of minutes. Let me read a couple.
Go ahead.
This person says, even if we grow our own roses, girlfriends will still prefer imported roses. Well,
that's not true. That's not true.
You think? I don't know. And yes, this person came back and said, way too low. That number is way too low. There you go. All right. So message break is over. Let's get back to it. Now, chocolates, flowers, cakes, what else?
I mean, restaurants as well. So if you check what their reservations are going for, that's also jumped as well. So pretty much, this is just a reflection of how Nigeria's economic metrics in terms of cost of living continues to rise. And so if you're in the Ministry of Agriculture, if you're in the all these other ministries, Minister of Trade and Investment, and all these other places, you want to use Valentine's Day as a proxy to say, yet another reason for us to have to try to nail down how to reduce prices, cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and try to get more homegrown solutions to increase our exports. Because flour exports, for countries like Kenya, Ethiopia, that's a lot of money, that they're getting in. So there's a lot to look at there in that regard.
All right. Well, that is that. Although I did hear about something about China starting to focus on cocoa.
Yes, experimenting a little bit.
China is worrying. That's worrying. But we can't touch on that for this episode because the time has flown by, people. There you have it. The cost of Valentine's Day growing and growing, inflationary costs. Well, if you missed out on this show, don't you worry. You can go up on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos and make sure you catch the replay. We've been streaming live, so you can go and catch the replay. And of course, you can just continue the conversation by going direct to Rotus. He is up on Twitter at Rotanquote. Spell it for us, please, Rotus.
ROTANKWOT.
Perfect. And so you can find him up on Twitter and go and ask him about other costs that he wasn't able to mention during these 15 minutes. Rotus, thank you so much for joining me for today's
Thanks, Sope.
Business
Thank you.
Express.
Thank you.
Yes, people. It's all about love. But you know, what's the cost of love? That's that. Coming up, I've got great music for you. Then 7:30, it is going to be Freshly Pressed. Stick with us right here. We are your love music, a love life station. Emphasis on the love today because it is Valentine's Day.
Business Express.